All right, so task 24, fraction operations. This is going to be a collected assignment. So we're going to go through these 6 and then you are going to have an assignment to do on your own. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, no matter what I see here, is I'm going to make improper fractions out of everything that I can right from the get-go. So I don't have to do anything with the first fraction. I don't have to do anything with the second fraction, but I do have to do it with the third fraction. So I'm going to make this into an improper fraction, and 3 times 1 plus 1 gives me 4 over 3. Now after I do that, I have to follow my order of operations. So that means my choices are addition or multiplication. So I have to do the multiplication first. So when I multiply, I'm going to multiply my top and then my bottom, and I multiply straight across. So the way I write this, I'm actually going to write anything I'm not doing first. So I'm going to write the 1/2 plus, because I'm just going to drag that basically down. I don't want to forget about it. I'm not doing anything with that. So just like with whole numbers, it's kind of just a holding pattern. Now I am going to do my multiplication. So I'm going to do the 2 times 4. And if you're kind of color coding, I'm going to do my top. I'm going to do my bottom here. And then I have my fraction bar here. So I have my 2 times 4, which gives me my 8 on top. And then I have my bottom 3 times 3, which gives me my 9 on the bottom. Now I have a problem, because now I have my addition, and I know that for addition and subtraction, remember, addition and subtraction, I need a common denominator. Okay, so in order to get a common denominator, I need that fraction over here and that fraction over here. I have to take the 2, I have to take the 9, and basically my denominator from the left goes to the right, my denominator from my right goes to my left. I multiply the 2 on the top and the bottom over here. I multiply the 9 on the top and the bottom over here. And then I continue on. So 9 times 1 gives me 9. 9 times 2 gives me 18. 8 times 2 gets me 16. 9 times 2 gets me 18. I know I've done it right because my denominators are like now. They're the same. I have the addition in between because, again, that travels down. There's a lot of arrows. Make sure you're able to follow them. Do I have like denominators? Yes. So I keep the denominator because I don't change it. When I have like denominators, I want to keep it the same. And now I have 9 plus 16, which gets me 25. I just say to myself, now using my multiplication chart, can you see the 25 and the 18 in any of those, in any one column? And the answer is no. So I am all simplified. All right, for letter B, I have division and multiplication. When I have division and multiplication, I want to work left to right. So for this one, I want to do the division first. So I want to do the 1/3 divided by 1/6. However, when I do division of fractions, I know that I need to flip my second fraction. So I'm actually going to rewrite this. I leave my first one by itself, and I rewrite my division as multiplication, and I rewrite my second fraction as 6/1 because I've now flipped it. and now I multiply it straight across. Now I'm going to multiply it straight across, but I'm actually going to write my answer down below it, because I still have that second part of my problem here, this times 2/3, and I'm going to drag that down. So 6 times 1 gets me 6 over 3 times 1 gets me 3. Now, you're going to have the urge to simplify it now, but don't, because ultimately you're bringing down this times 2 over 3. So you're going to have to multiply it by another fraction. If you simplify it, then ultimately you're going to have a whole number, possibly, and you're going to have to multiply it by another fraction. So you could end up in a little bit of a pickle because now you don't have a fraction to multiply with another fraction. So just leave it. We'll simplify once at the end of the problem. All right, so now we have a fraction times another fraction. We're going to multiply the tops. We're going to multiply the bottoms. All right, and when we do that, 6 times 2 gets me 12. 3 times 3 gets me 9. All right, and we're looking again for those two numbers in the same column as my multiplication chart. And if you're wondering kind of what I mean by that, this is going to simplify down to 4 over 3. And I know that the 4 is on top because the bigger number was on top. 12 divided by, I'm dividing both of these by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that is my answer. And I know that I'm done because 4 and 3, again, don't have any common divisor. All right, let's look at letter C. This is a little messy because I have a problem from above. Okay. So I have division, I have addition, and I have multiplication. So you know from your order of operations that division and multiplication happen before the addition. So I'm going to have to do the division, and then I'm going to have to do the multiplication. Okay, the first step though I'm going to have to do is to create fractions or improper fractions, more specifically, before I do anything. So my first step is to create fractions out of everything. And the way I want to do that when I have whole numbers is I'm going to throw this over 1, and I'm going to throw this over 1. So I make the whole numbers into fractions. My next step is to make the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I'm going to leave this 8 over 1 divided by, this turns into 6 over 5, because I turn that into a improper fraction. Then this becomes 3 over 1 times 3 over 2. Okay, and again, I want to do, oops, wrong color, sorry. I want to do my division, and I want to do my multiplication before I add. My adding should be my last step. So with my division, I'm actually going to be circling my second one, because when I divide, I want to flip my second fraction. So I get 8 over 1 times 5 over 6. So moving down, I'm just going to stick with that one. I get 40 over 6, and I can pause. Now coming over to this other one, I'm multiplying. So I'm just going to bring it down because I didn't have to do any flipping here. I get 3 times 3, which is 9, 1 times 2, which is 2. And again, bringing the plus down, I'm adding. Now I don't have like denominator, so I have to do that piece. I need like denominators, so my 6 is going to go over here. My 2 is going to go over here. 6 on top, 6 on bottom, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. So I get 80 over 12. I get 54 over 12. I'm good to go with my 12s. That makes me happy because when I see them matching, I know I'm on the right track. I add up the 80 and the 54, and I get 134. Those are both even numbers, so I can cut them in half. On the bottom, I'm going to get 6. On the top, I'm going to get 67. And that 67, I mean, that's looking pretty grim because that is a prime number. And as soon as I see a prime number, I know that I am done. All right, letter D is very, very similar to letter C. Again, I have the division first, the multiplication second, or actually third. I have the subtraction in between. So I want to do my division. I want to do my multiplication. My subtraction is going to happen last, just like my addition happened last. So I'm really good to go because I have all fractional components here. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to switch anything. So I want to start by remembering that in my division, my second piece to my division, or my second fraction, I want to flip. So I leave the 6 over 11 alone. Ooh, I didn't catch this on the last one, but here, oh no, I was good. Right here, I thought I messed up, but I didn't need to switch it to multiplication until this step, sorry. Okay, so 6 over 11 times 55 over 18. Now, I'm going to show you a trick on this one because those numbers are so big. And then we can do over here, we're going to look at that same trick. So let's do the trick first. When we look at this, we can simplify within our problem before, and I'm actually doing my videos backwards, so you probably have seen this trick in the multiplication video, but we can simplify corner to corner. So you can look at your multiples here, and if there is a factor, you can pull it out, and you can look at your multiples here. And if there's a factor, you can pull it out, or you can divide both of them by that factor. So again, this is using your column on your multiplication chart. So 11 and 55 have a common factor. That factor, again, coming back, when I divide both of those by 11, 11 divided by 11 gets me 1. 55 divided by 11 gets me 5. You want to keep what your answer is. So 11 divided by 11 is 1. 55 divided by 11 is 5. In the 6 and 18, your common factor is 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So this becomes a much easier multiplication problem because basically you have 1 over 1 times 5 over 3. So we're going to, you don't have to rewrite it, but if you want to rewrite it so that you can tell what numbers you're using, that's how you do it. So here, if you want to do the same thing, you're looking at this blue multiplication problem. You're looking at 7 over 26 times 13 over 14. So if you're looking at which ones you can look to cancel through or pull a factor out, you're looking at 7 and 14, and you're looking at 13 and 26. So 7 and 14, there's a common factor of 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. If you do the same thing with 13 and 26, 13 divided by 13 is 1. 26 divided by 13 is 2. So if you bring that new problem down, you have 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. So now it becomes a much smaller problem. If I bring down the sign, I'm still subtracting. So now I need to do the multiplication. So I have 1 times 5, which is 5, 1 times 3, which is 3 on the bottom. The one to the right is 1 times 1, which is 1, 2 times 2, which is 2. And again, I'm subtracting. I can't actually do the subtraction yet because I don't have like denominators. So now this is the same process. Now, once you get to this, you could really go back and watch the video subtracting fractions 2, where you're just subtracting two fractions with an unlike denominator. We bring the 3 over, we bring the 2 over, 2 and a 2, bottom and top, 3 and a 3, bottom and top. We get 10 over 6 minus 3 over 6. And we end up with 7 over 6 cannot be simplified. All right, now down here, and again, if this is moving too quickly for you, remember you can stop, you can pause, you can rewind, you can rewatch. All right, so now we are dealing with some exponents. So if you notice, this is kind of built. Each row has been a little bit different and has pulled in a different topic. So if you look here, what are we doing? First, we need to get fractions. Second, we need to get improper fractions. Third, we need to do the thing. And then we have to pull in the exponent. So the exponent is going to be one of the last steps. So first things first, okay, we have to put this 1 over a 1. Next, we have to look at making things into our improper fractions. So this is going to be 1 over 1 minus 2 over 5. We still have that exponent divided by, and this we're going to turn into an improper fraction, and we're going to have 3 over 2, and that's also going to be squared. Now, we have to deal with, this division is separating things. So let's deal with the left first. These don't have, if we kind of separate, and we might need to take out and kind of just deal with things and then bring it back in. If this was just, if I just gave you this and nothing else, this again, think back to what I just said. If I just gave you that, that would go back to subtracting fractions 2, unlike denominators. I would set up a parenthesis over here. I would set up a parenthesis over here. We'd bring the 1 over here. We'd bring the 5 over here. We'd do a 5 on top, 5 on bottom. We'd do a 1 on top, a 1 on bottom. We would get 5 over 5 minus 2 over 5. You would subtract, and we would get 3 over 5. So if we bring that back up, we get 3 over 5 squared. Now I'm going to kind of just draw a line because this is my scratch, right? That's kind of my workspace. This is my problem. That's my scratch space to the left. Now that's divided by this 3 over 2 squared. Now, what does it mean for something to be squared? It means times itself. So really what I have there is I have 3 over 5 times 3 over 5. And then I have divided by 3 over 2 times 3 over 2. Right? Because I have 3 over 2 squared. So really, I just have a long chain of times, then divided by, then times again. And when I have multiplied and divided all in a row, I have to work left to right. So let's just start left to right. I have to do this first. And when I do that, I get 9 over 25. And then it says divided by 3 over 2 times 3 over 2. All I did was bring down that, bring down that, bring down that. Now, when it says divided by 3 over 2, this means that I really multiply and flip this. So it's really 9 over 25 times 2 over 3. So if I do that, okay, what do I get? Well, I get 18 over 75 because I do 9 times 2 gets me 18, 25 times 3 gets me 75. And then if I bring down this other stuff, I get times 3 over 2. And if I do that, if I do the multiplication, then what do I get? I get 54 over 150 because 18 times 3 is 54 and 75 times 2 is 150. Now I have to simplify because I always have to simplify, and since they're both even, I'm going to cut them in half. So 54 cut in half is 27. 150 cut in half is 75. Both of those are not divisible by 2, but they're divisible by 3. So I cut it by 3 or divide by 3 and I get 9. I divide 75 by 3 and I get 25. And then I've hit the end of the road and I have 9 over 25. So this is really testing if you know all of those things and if you can kind of put all of them together. But if you follow the rules and really follow not only math rules but order of operation rules, you'll get it. Okay. All right. Let's do letter F. First step, make everything into a fraction. So we're going to put the 1 over a 1. Second step, make everything into an improper fraction. So we're going to have 3 over 2 divided by 1/3 squared plus 1 over 1 minus 1/4 squared. Okay. Now, we're going to, first off, kind of section this off, and we're going to make this our scratch area, and we're going to make this our problem. Okay, and we have two things to do in our scratch area. We have 3 over 2 divided by 1/3. And we have 1 over 1 minus 1/4, right? We're going to take both of our insides and we're going to do them. So for the division, we're going to take this and we're going to multiply it. And when we multiply that, we flip this. So really 3 over 2 times 3 over 1. And when we do that, we're going to get 9 over 2. Whoops. So when I do that, I'm going to put that back up there. And I really have 9 over 2 squared. Now I can really rewrite that. Remember, 9 over 2 times 9 over 2. Because 9 over 2 squared is 9 over 2 times 9 over 2. 9 over 2 squared is 9 over 2 times itself. Now, coming back over to the left, 1 over 1 minus 1/4, we can't subtract those because we don't have like denominators. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my parentheses and set myself up to get like denominators. So I'm going to bring the 1 over, I'm going to bring the 4 over from the left to the right and the right to the left. And I'm going to go 1, 1, top and bottom. I'm going to go 4, 4, top and bottom. And I'm going to get 4 over 4 minus 1 over 4. and I'm going to get 3 over 4. And I'm going to put that back, and I'm going to get 3 over 4 squared, which really is 3 over 4 times 3 over 4. Because 3/4 squared is 3/4 times 3/4. And I'm adding these, so that's a little bit different than letter A. So now I have multiplication, multiplication, and addition. So in order of operation, I have to do the multiplication before I do the addition. So I can do the multiplication on the left, the multiplication on the right at the same time, and then I have to add them. So with multiplication, I'm going to do the tops, the bottoms, straight across. So I get 81 over 4. I get 9 over 16. And I want to add, but in order to add, I need like terms. So now I'm going to get those parentheses again. I'm going to bring the 4 over. I'm going to bring the 16 over. 4 on the top and the bottom. 16 on the top and the bottom. All right, I'm going to do the right side first just because it's smaller. I'm going to get 36 over 64. 81 times 16, I don't know off the top of my head. 6, 48, 1, 8, 6, 9, 12. So 1296. So 1296 over 64 plus 36 over 64. So 1296 plus 36. So 12, 13, 13, 3, nope, 1332. So I got 1332 over 64. Both even, so I'm going to have to simplify. So when I do that, I cut them both in half and I get 32 on the bottom. And I get let's see. $666 on the top. I cut those both in half and I get 333 over 16. And that might be the end of it. Now I know 16 is divisible by 4, it's divisible by 8, it's divisible by 2, it's divisible by 16. So those are the numbers I have to try dividing by 333. If 333 is not divisible by those numbers, then you know you're done. It looks like we are done. So my answer is 333 divided by 16. Remember that you can leave your answer as an improper fraction. We do not want to take it back to a mixed number because there's room for human error at that point. None of us are perfect. So that's where we want to end it. And that's it. Remember, these are the challenge problems, but if we can do these, then we can do anything. And that's where we're at. All right, good luck, and I will see you soon. If I look here, all right, I'm looking for 9 and 12 in the same column. So if I look at this first column, and I'm looking for 9 and 12, okay, in the same column, I see it here. Here's my 9 and here's my 12, but this doesn't help me because 1's at the top. I know that they're both divisible by 1, but 9 divided by 1 and 12 divided by 1 is just going to give me 9 and 12 again. So that doesn't help me. Whoops. Now, if I look here, I have a 12, but you see I didn't have a 9 because it went from 8 to 10. So they are not both divisible by 2. If I look at the next column over, here's a 9 and here's a 12. So I know that they are both divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3 gets me 3. And 12 divided by 3 gets me 4. So I know that, jumping back, if you're looking at this, okay, over here, 11 and 55. Where do you see both of those? 11 and 55, you see them here, which means that 11, okay, is a factor. What common factor is it? You can pull an 11 out of both of those. And when that happens, it's a 5, right? So